Oh. Hi there, this is James again from centralamerica.com and on our centralamerica.com podcast. And I'm here talking to Nico from the Bocas Breeze in Panama, in Bocas del Toro, Panama. And Nico, great to chat to you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Big fan of Central America, and I appreciate the content you guys put out there. I'm a fan of the website.
Oh, thanks very much, and we like you. You like your Bocas Breeze as well. That's great, which is exactly why we have you on here. So, as this is a podcast, as you know, it's a podcast about expats doing cool stuff in Central America, and I think running a newspaper in Bocas del Toro is a cool thing. So, why don't we start with just like, you know, tell us about yourself, tell us about the Bocas Breeze, and you know, how long have you lived in Bocas del Toro? How long you've run the Bocas Breeze? And let's start with all that.
Sure. My name's Nicholas Correa, Nick, locally known as Nico. I was very interested in Spanish growing up, and I would meet a lot of Latin Americans, and they would call me Nico. And I grew up as Nick, but I'm Nico in Bocas. It's stuck here. Been in Bocas for 11 years. And I've been working for the Bocas Breeze since 2012. I took over in 2016. And the newspaper itself has been in print since 2004. December 2004 was the first issue. Normally like a monthly printed newspaper. And we're online at thebocasbreeze.com and Facebook and Instagram at the Bocas Breeze.
All right. So what do they cover? What actually is it? It's a local newspaper kind along those lines, I'm imagining.
Exactly. It's a community newspaper. You know, an informative, entertaining, non-confrontational kind of source of information for residents and for visitors. So people looking up Bocas del Toro in Panama shoot us a lot of questions. It's a little insight into life on the archipelago, the islands of Bocas del Toro, here on the Caribbean side of Panama.
Right, and right next to Costa Rica as well. I used to go to the Bocas a lot many years ago when I was doing the old visa run, the visa run shuffle as we call it. And I used to spend probably every 6 months. I used to go to Bocas del Toro and hang out there.
When was the last time you were in town?
The last time I was in town, I'm thinking it was probably about 2010, something like that. Probably around the time that you arrived.
Yeah.
I
came here for New Year's on 2010. We might have brushed shoulders somewhere.
We might well have done. I used to alternate my visa runs. So every 3 months I had to leave the country. One round I went to Nicaragua, the next round Panama, and it turned out every 6 months I used to go to the Bocas. Used to fly down there with Nature Air before they went under, or sometimes, you know, hang out in Puerto Viejo for a little while and get the bus down and cross that rickety old bridge. I'll tell you one thing I do know is that the bridge is new, isn't it? Crossing the border. I haven't been there since then. The last time I was over, it was crossing the old bridge. Do you remember that with the?
That one is treacherous. You know, you look down, you could definitely drop your passport through some of the holes in that old bridge. And I don't know if you're skinny,
you could drop your whole
pencil dive in there.
You could drop your whole rucksack through some of those holes. Yeah. I remember, like, you're crossing over. I used to deliberately take friends of mine from England over there just to watch their faces as they're crossing over. You know, they're like, you know, man, where the hell am I? What am I doing?
It's not the worst of border crossings, even with that considered. But no, the new bridge is great. Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually drive across it now, can't you? Or
I believe so. I haven't been there since it opened, but yeah.
I thought you can. I'll
Don't quote me on that, James.
I won't. I'm interested myself. I'll ask around in Puerto Viejo or something for that. So yeah. So why Panama in the first place then?
Well,
Tell us
You know,
what brought,
when I was
tell us
growing
what
up,
you down.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was going to say, tell us what brought you down. You know, where.
Yeah, well, I was always interested in Latin America. Growing up, you know, as a teenager.
Where are you from originally again?
I'm from the United States, and I grew up in New Hampshire,
Right.
which is in the New England. You're from the Old England. I'm from the New
old
England.
one. Yeah.
And New Hampshire's, you know, it's not too far from the city of Boston.
I'm actually not. I'm not too far from the Old Hampshire. I'm from Surrey, which is right next to Hampshire. But yeah, that's by the by. But yeah. So you're from New Hampshire originally, and carry on.
And then I went to study at the University of Tampa in Florida, and you know, I was always interested in Latin America. I had an interest in el idioma español, castellano, and I loved speaking Spanish with Latins that lived in the U.S. And I was curious. And I graduated from the University of Tampa in 2009, and it was kind of in the after effects of the housing market crash. And there, you know, there wasn't a lot of job opportunities. I had friends with professional degrees, and they weren't getting professional jobs. So I decided to come to Central America straight after graduating. Now, I heard about it from some great friends from Florida. They're Florida guys. They love to surf. Now, the thing about surf in Florida is it's not that consistent. You know, they get waves when there's a hurricane or some tropical storms. It's not like Hawaii or California where there's more consistent swell and surf. So they take trips down to Central America to get some surfing in, a week of good surfing. And they would typically go to Costa Rica on the Pacific side. Well, one time, two of my friends were down there, and the waves were firing on the Caribbean. It must have been this time of year, because this is the surf season now. December, January, February, March, April. And for all those watching at home, we actually have a nice mini season that is the best kept secret of the Caribbean surf scene. Late June, July, August, early August.
Good to know. Good to know.
Verano de San Juan. Yeah. Anyway, so these two friends, they discovered Bocas del Toro through looking for just a Google. I guess they were searching online, you know, where there are good waves, probably on Magic Seaweed, and they found Bocas del Toro, and they came back and they loved it. And one of those friends, Stephen Murray, he came back 2, 3, 4 times. He spent a whole summer here. Every time he would tell me all about it. I would hear the stories. He would show me the pictures. I was watching on social media. We had social media back in 2010. It wasn't as, you know, ubiquitous as it is nowadays, but, you know, I was following his pictures down there, and I just really had to check out this Bocas del Toro. So we came down here.
So you're basically up there in the States, looking at his Facebook posts and so on, talking about
and you know, and
time he was having, and
we were university friends, you know. So you know, he went on spring break, he came back, and he told me all about it. And you know, there's people I see almost every day that were legends that he told me about, telling stories about, and now we're good friends. So you know, my original plan was to just come to Bocas for like a few weeks, and then check out the rest of Panama, Panama City, Panama Canal, other destinations in Panama, go to Colombia, and then end up in Ecuador, where I had a contact from another recent university graduate, Andres. Right. And I was planning to kind of, I don't know, teach English in Ecuador or see what kind of opportunities were there for me. But I just fell in love with Bocas. I mean, this is during the high season. You know, like tons of people here. We arrived on New Year's. New Year's on Bocas del Toro is quite a scene. You know, right. There is just people everywhere, great parties, like people from all over the world, Australians coming to surf, South American summer. You have, you know, Argentinians, Chileans, a lot of Costa Ricans visit Bocas, people from Panama City, European, US travelers, great mix of people, everybody out on the beaches, in the parties. And this is, of course, pre-COVID, no masks, everybody's dancing, sweating. You couldn't get a hotel room. You couldn't get a hotel
Miss
room.
those days. I miss those days, man.
You couldn't get a hotel room unless you booked months in advance. Locals would rent their houses out. They would go, all right, I'll go stay at my brother's house and rent out the house. It was good times. So I got swept up in that high season. I loved it. Carnival, the New Year's party, Carnival, all the way to Semana Santa. And I never went to Ecuador. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stay here and start my own English program. So I rented a classroom from a local elementary school here. And I had it from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I would teach locals, adults, kids. I even had a few students that were expats, children that, maybe they were French or from, English wasn't their first language. And it was fun. And so then that elementary school hired me, and I taught for 2 years. And it was a very, very rewarding job, teaching 1st through 4th grade, and had a lot of fun. I learned that I love kids and I love teaching them and goofing off with them. But it didn't offer a lot in the way of compensation. So I was working a lot of side hustles, second and third jobs. I was still teaching English. I was teaching Spanish, like beginner Spanish, and guitar. And I was playing music in the bars with some of the parents of the students. And that ended up being a very good thing for me. I played a lot of music in Bocas.
Yeah.
That's been some of the funnest things I've done. But the job that really stuck was I started writing freelance articles for websites, content creation, and just articles about Bocas Breeze. About Bocas del Toro, excuse me.
Right. And that led you to becoming a publisher yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. The previous owner and editor took notice of my articles, and I was hired. And that was in 2012. Now, I would be remiss in talking about my Bocas del Toro experience without mentioning the bookstore bar. And it's a shame we didn't know about your website when I was the managing partner, because one of our taglines was Central America's most volatile bookstore. And it was a place where we'd play a lot of music, and we'd have concerts every Tuesday, and local musicians from all over the world playing in this kind of dive bar with books on the wall, founded by the legendary David Clower, aka Loco Dave.
That sounds awesome. I love places like that. There's some places like that. Like there used to be, at least, in San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua. What was it called? Black Cat or Gato Negro or something like that. Yeah. I think they've gone now, but you find these little quirky little places up and down the region, and they're really cool. If it's a bar, or even it's like a coffee shop or whatever, that kind of on the traveler trail, these little places, where you can come in, like almost like an open mic night. You can sit and play, do something, read a book, buy a book.
It's a cool scene. Yeah.
Totally. I never realized Bocas del Toro had that, but yeah, that's great to know. So like, tell me some other stuff about Bocas, for you. Like after, like 11 years there, what, you've padded it out quite well, I think already, your obvious love for the area, but what does it have over other parts of Panama for you?
Well, I think it's the best place in the Caribbean to live. If you love nature, if you love the ocean, this is a great place to be. There's a very thriving cruiser community. There's a lot of sailors here. Big surf community. People love surf, diving, and being connected with nature. You're not close. You're out of the city, obviously, but you have you can get the conveniences of the city. We have Amazon nowadays. You can get things sent here. This Bocas del Toro and it's got a bit for everybody. It's got a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I always remember. I always loved about the Bocas myself. It's you know, for most places, you know, for example, in Costa Rica, like you can either go to a beach community that's you know, like a surf town, you know, geared for surfing, or you can go to one that's more geared for diving, snorkeling, and so on. And it's not often the two places mix, you know, because you know, just by the very nature of, you know, like a surf town needs surf, and that ultimate, you know, that rushing water everywhere doesn't make for too good clarity for diving, you know. But Bocas has that, because you've got like on the outer, you know, like on the parts of the islands, you know, like facing the open Caribbean, you've got surf there, and then like in the you know, that big sort of like lagoon kind of thing, you know, like you know, great diving there, great snorkeling, and it's all carbon protected. And
Exactly. You know, somebody's always happy. Like on a day like today, the surf is good. Surfers are happy. But the divers, they'll get their day. Speaking of diving, I'm doing this interview in Divers Paradise, and this place is a haven for divers. It's like a diving resort, Bocas Dive Center. So it's built by divers for divers.
Yeah, I mean it's a great place to go and get your paddy or something, isn't it? You know, or
it is.
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever get that done?
I have not, and that is on my list of things to do for sure.
Yeah.
Every dive cop wants me to dive with them.
Yeah,
it's with them all.
Yeah, it's kind of like those kind of things when you live in a place, you know, like you know, where it's so, you know, where it's so ubiquitous and everyone's doing something. You're like, yeah, I'll sort that out tomorrow, and you end up, you know, not doing it.
I got too much work. I got to build this newspaper. This editor gets no sleep. I will dive when I can.
Yeah, you know, so outside, you know, like for people coming to Bocas del Toro, considering Bocas del Toro, you know, as a place to, you know, to follow in your footsteps and live, you know, outside of the surfers and the divers, you know, like what kind of expats or potential expat do you think would settle well into the Bocas?
You know, for expats, residents, and for visitors, I think a key element is an adventurous spirit. It's an adventurous place, and fun-loving expats have a great time here. I mean, they're you know, we're in COVID times, so gatherings are, you know, public health risks, so they're not happening. But normally, Bocas has quite a reputation for being a town with good nightlife and good social atmosphere.
Sure.
So, you know, expats that love nature, that want to be in nature all the time, love it here, and people that are interested in the environment and conservation, and we need more people like that. I mean, not saying that they don't exist, but you know, that Bocas is a very, very precious, and this is a worldwide issue. But you know, there are a lot of things that are threatening the ecosystem, and they're man-made. So the expat that wants to come here and build with and develop with low impact, it totally will fit in. I think a real key element is, and this is an element to being a good expat anywhere, is to be kind of culturally cool. Kind of check your culture at your front doorstep. Be ready to adapt, you know, and that's key. I mean, in all natural sciences in life, you know, adaptation wins. You know, you're not going to be able to. It's not going to be like life in New York or life in France or Australia or wherever you come from. So you have to adapt.
Yeah, so that kind of leads me in, like on the flip side of that, then, you know, like who do you think? Do you ever, you know, like you know, people who arrive and you kind of think, yeah, you're not going to last too long around here.
People that can't adapt.
People that can't adapt, yeah.
And that complain about the way things are, that are just, you know, cultural institutions. Also, people that want to wreck the environment, not going to fit in.
Yeah. You know, someone, you know, like wanted to put up, you know, like some big, massive, mega resort kind of thing with, you know, tear down mangroves and this and that, and
it's a constant fight and balance, and
Yeah. So, and you know, and so like, if you are coming, what I understand you're not a realtor at all, or anything like that, but you've been in the in Bocas for 11 years now. You run a local newspaper in town. You know, what's the real estate scene? You know, what kind of places would someone live in there? What are their choices? Tell me a little bit about the real estate scene down there.
Well, there's a little bit of everything. You know, you can buy land to develop on. There are homes for sale, commercial property. There are businesses for sale that come with commercial property. You want to know if you want to be in Bocas Town in the town center, or if you want to be perhaps on the main island east of Cologne, but more out of town in the Big Creek area, Bluff, Drago, where you have access by car to the main town area, but you're out a little bit more remotely. Or you have options too of living on all of the, you know, there are 9 main islands, 10, 11, depending on how you count them and count the keys. Anyway, you know, there's various islands that you could live on. So do you want to have a boat? And yeah, I'm definitely no real estate expert. I imagine prices are down now because of the world economy. Don't quote me on that. But we have fabulous realtors here. Paradise Found, Buena Vista Realty, United Country, and they're all expats and people that have lived here in the community for years and can really, you know, assess what kind of person you are and what kind of your lifestyle is and what you're going to need. That being said, you've got to assess everything yourself, and rent for 6 months at least, maybe a year. You know, have fun, get to know the area, see what life is going to be like exactly where you're about to make a big investment.
What's the you know, when it comes to renting, what sort of range is there? You know,
Well, like anywhere from something very, very basic, you know, for like 200, 300, something decent, 400 to 600, and you can have something very luxurious for under $1,000.
This per month, I'm guessing.
I think you surprised me with that question, but it's I pay 410, and I love my place.
Right.
The Calypso Apartments. I have the best landlord in the world, and she says I'm the best tenant, but I think she's just saying that.
This is to be clear, we're talking per month, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I was going to say you're paying.
I would say 500 is average. You know, 400, 500. Yeah. If you're on a shoestring budget, you know, if you're like a backpacker that wants to park for a month in Bocas, you could probably rent something for like 300. And if you want something really nice, you know, the hot water, air conditioning, high-speed internet, big, beautiful waterfront, and I think you can get something for under $1,000. Don't quote me on that, but
no. It's just
tidbit to have in my back pocket. I'm gonna research that.
Just a good range. You know, probably around. You know, you're looking really somewhere between, you know, like 500 and 600, something around there. As a, you know,
well, I wanted to add something to the ideal expat thing.
Yes.
That you asked before. There's a lot of scientific research going on in conservation research. They've nicknamed. There's a reason they've nicknamed Bocas del Toro the Galapagos of the Caribbean. So it's a great opportunity for students to come down, like School for Field Studies. They do study abroad programs for science, university students doing conservation research, and Bocas has actually been named a Mission Blue Hope Spot, and there's a lot of like non-government, non-profit organizations, either on the scientific research side or volunteer. For instance, if you want to volunteer in education, there's Give and Serve. If you want to volunteer for medical, there's Floating Doctors. And these are wonderful organizations that are, you know, they're NGOs from the United States, but they're long-term invested in the community. provide jobs for locals, help locals, and locals are part of their teams, and it's another beautiful aspect of this
Oh,
community.
no, absolutely. They've been around for years, and they're trusted, and
Yeah.
you know, they not only bring down like-minded people who care about the community they're in, they also employ locals to help them become stewards of the community as well, that kind of thing.
And a few people have moved here that way. They're a nurse and they volunteered with Floating Doctors, and they lived here for a year, and they're like, I love this place. And then they, kept working in the States or wherever they're from, and they saved, and they came and they invested. That's a great way to discover the community with a purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just like just to touch on, we were I know I threw that curveball about prices for you just then. I'm going to throw you another price.
I'm a journalist. I like to be right, and I can't fact check anything right now.
I hear you. So but like one final comment. I mean, looks to me right now you're in some kind of like bar or restaurant or something. So I was going to ask you. Well, no, I asked you this before, actually, a couple of months ago about something else. Just general costs of living there. How much is a beer, for example?
Oh, right on. In most places it's $2.
I asked the difficult questions here.
No, this one's easier for me. It's typically $2 in a bar. Sometimes you'll see them, like when we're talking about like a national beer, like a Balboa or Panama. Usually like $2 in a bar. Sometimes some restaurants are pricing them at $2.50 or $3. There's some bars you can get them for $1.50, and you can find happy hour and like some cool like dance hall and local bars maybe have dollar beers sometimes. Right. And in the store, 85 cents for a can of Balboa.
Can't beat that. Balboa was always my favorite Panamanian beer. I don't know why. You got quite a few down there. Like I was always a Balboa guy. So
yeah.
So and then funny outside of the cheap beer, my final question for you is what's your favorite thing about the Bocas? After everything we've spoken about.
Oh wow, there's so many things. Well, flashing back to maybe the most fun times of my life is playing music here. Jamming with the local music scene, which is made up of super talented, Bocatereños playing calypso and salsa, and then we have a pretty thriving expat community music scene too, and we all get together and we share different musical styles. I was invited for a few months to play bass guitar for a band on Bastimentos Islands called Los Mixtos. I was honored.
Los Mixtos. Yeah.
We were even more mixed up when I joined the group. And we're playing calypso and learning those songs. It was so great. I also, and I don't know if this is really popular, but I think it should become more popular, is I enjoy watching baseball games sometimes on Sunday, and not on television, like right there in Bocas town.
Live action,
Live action. They play hardball, they play softball, and they bring out the big speakers and the blasted music, and they got coolers of beers, and people are selling snacks and having a great time. And you'll probably remember this, that the airport, at least the way the airport is now, things might change. The airport is situated right behind the field, which is used for football, soccer, baseball. Baseball diamond, they play soccer on it too. But so if you hit a home run, you could hit it right onto the tarmac while a plane is landing. So cool.
Wow.
And then, most recently, my favorite thing about Bocas is getting into the jungle. I've spent most of my 11 years just kind of stomping the pavement around this concrete jungle and, getting out to the beaches all the time when I can, the other islands. I've never spent much time in the jungle. And my girlfriend recently just started a new gig at a chocolate farm and jungle lodge, La Loma. Check it out.
Okay, I will do.
She's a chocolatier. She's in heaven. And I've been privileged to be able to spend a lot of time out there with her recently. And
Is that on the mainland, the main jungles and so on, or are they on the islands?
This is right next to the Bastimentos, nature reserve. So this is in
Okay.
Bastimentos. This is past Red Frog.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and yeah, it's La Loma, so it's built on a big hill. And I've been enjoying my time out there, really. Like, I feel calmer. I feel I'm surrounded by, our little cabin has ginger flowers and edible katuk, and I'm discovering all these things that grow abundantly, and my blood pressure's going down. I'm losing weight. I'm feeling healthy. And I have a new appreciation for the jungle.
It's that kind of thing, like after so long, it's always great to find something that that's always been in front of your face all these years, but you
I'm gonna go dive in with
rediscover it.
guys. They got big dive boats. I don't know. Must be taken out.
Oh, yeah. I can see the boats right there. Yeah. That's
Divers
awesome.
Paradise.
Tell me about where you are right now, Lennon.
This is Divers Paradise. Yeah, it's a
Divers Paradise.
Yes, and they have the Bocas Dive Center. And right now I'm sitting in the Pier 19 restaurant. They're closed for the moment. Restaurants are opening, but slowly but surely. And they're big supporters of the live music scene too. I've many a nights playing here. They used to host open jams and jazz nights and salsa nights.
That's awesome, man.
Great place.
Yeah.
Totally recommend it.
Yeah. I next time I'm down there, I will show up there. You can take me there.
Absolutely. You are more than welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, I think that kind of concludes things for right now. As I said, this was just about chatting to you, introducing you to our website, and we will certainly be working together on quite a bit of stuff in 2021, and I look forward to it. So I just wanted to thank you so much, Nico, for your time right now. It's been great to chat to you about everything Bocas del Toro, and yeah, greatly appreciate your time.
Oh, likewise, James. Thank you so much. Thanks for shining a spotlight on Bocas del Toro, and I look forward to a great collaborative relationship. And I want to ask our readers what kind of topics they want to see on another podcast. So.
Certainly, and we'll do our best between us, do our best to provide them with everything they need.
That's right. It's all about Central America, baby.
All right, cheers, man. Nice one. We'll speak soon. Take it easy. Bye.